I'd like to ask you specifically about Pasig City's congressional candidate, Attorney Christian Sia. Okay? So I'd like to show the graphics on screen. Ang sinabi po niya in Filipino, minsan sa isang taon, ang mga solo parent na babae na nireregla pa at nalulungkot, minsan sa isang taon, pwedeng sumiping sa akin. So in English, solo parents who are still menstruating and feeling lonely, they can have sex with me once a year. All right? If I were to do it, minsan kasi in English would be just you can have sex with me. All right? So, is there a possible violation with that particular statement?
Possible violation, yes, Ma'am Karen. Meron tayo for the first time in the history of the Commission election. We passed an anti-discrimination resolution some 2 months ago. We said that for purposes of this campaigning, we should not be discriminating as against any individual or against any group. Try to imagine, Ma'am Karen, ano naman ang pakialam ng ating mga solo parents doon sa pagkuha niya ng mga boto sa mga botante po niya. Ang sabi po niya, Ma'am Karen, may mga natuwa naman, may mga pumalakpak. Yung mga natuwa, mga pumalakpak, supporters niya yun, yes. Paano yung mga nakapanood doon sa social media? Baka isipin kasi ng mga kabataan, okay, tama lang po. Yung ganong klase ng mga pag-aasal at pagsasalita as against solo parents. Hindi ba, Ma'am Karen, dapat nga natin pinaparangalan ng solo parents dahil napupursige nila yung family nila, napag-aaral nila yung mga anak nila. Kasalanan ba nilang namatay na maaga yung asawa nila, hiniwalayan sila ng asawa nila, binubugbog sila, o kaya naman yung nagkaroon ng boyfriend, di naman siya sineryoso, so nagkaroon sila ng anak. Solo parents siya. This is a situation of which nobody is in full control, and therefore they should never be the focus of a joke. Sabi Ma'am Karen, joke daw po yan. We should not use the stage for purposes of such kind of joke. Hindi yan bastusan. Maging fair lang po tayo sa lahat. Sabi ko nga, Ma'am Karen, kung sa sarili lang niya ang joke, sabihin na niya kahit anong joke sa sarili niya, wala siguro magsasalita. But in this particular case, we have to elevate to a higher discourse yung ating debates, yung ating pangangampanya. Hindi yung bababa tayo sa level ng ganito. Parang wala naman pong commission on elections.
Okay, so Chairman Garcia, you are essentially citing the anti-discrimination and fair campaigning guidelines of the Comelec. I believe it's Resolution 11116. Now, the question is, does that fall under discrimination against women, or it really sounds more like a sexist, gender-based harassment remark? Will that fall under the resolution still?
Yeah, as far as our task force is concerned, yes, in both instances, Ma'am Karen, and therefore it's up to him to contest that. Kaya po siya na-issue ng show cause order that's preliminary to a proper petition to disqualify and or election offense. Take note, that's part of due process, Ma'am Karen. That's why we are requiring him to at least answer, make a statement. And after that, it's up to the task force to determine pwede na bang kasuhan, may kaso ba talaga? And then we will give him the formal opportunity later on if there is a formal case to be filed against him for disqualification or election offense. However, likewise, for the information of everyone, already a group and a party list organization filed a disqualification case against him. I think another...
Attorney Christian Sia. Meron.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, and I think another party list likewise filed a complaint for disbarment before the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. And at the same time, yung Council for Single Parents already filed likewise a petition to disqualify. In the event that our task force will deem it necessary to likewise file a petition to disqualify, we're going to consolidate everything and we are going to resolve these cases prior to the conduct of the election.
Oh, all right. Okay, so that's something new. So now, what you're saying, kasi nasa balota na ang pangalan ni Attorney Christian Sia, no? Tumatakbong congressional candidate sa Pasig. A disqualification case has been filed against him. What happens? Will it go before the en banc when the Comelec decides, hypothetically, if the Comelec decides that he violated the anti-discrimination and fair campaigning guidelines of the Comelec?
Ma'am Karen, if somebody is facing... Opo,
Go on.
somebody is facing a disqualification case, then that case will be raffled first to a division, and whatever is the decision of the division will be elevated to the commission and bank. And the decision of the commission and bank is final and executory unless restrained by the Honorable Supreme Court. But take note, Ma'am Karen, even if somebody is already proclaimed or had taken his oath, and perhaps, but before the assumption to office, proclaimed, taken his oath, but before assumption to office, which will be by June 30, 1201, immediately after the election, the Comelec retains jurisdiction for the position of congressman. Meaning to say, as far as the Comelec is concerned, hindi pa siya congressman. Congressman lang po siya sa 1201 ng June 30 based in accordance with the Constitution. Therefore, the Comelec can still have a decision as far as a particular case is concerned. Mawawala lang ang jurisdiction ng Comelec, mapupunta sa House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal by June 30, 1201, in which case the Comelec will have to automatically dismiss the case.
Okay, but then hypothetically, if the Comelec hypothetically finds him guilty or disqualifies him and he wins the election, what happens to the candidate?
A candidate with such a circumstance, all his votes will be considered stray, Ma'am Karen. Therefore, we can proclaim the second placer.
So if you proclaim the second placer and the Supreme Court has not yet issued, let's say, what could the Supreme Court issue in favor of the candidate?
Well, the Supreme Court can issue a restraining order, but however, if somebody
And let's say walang restraining order. So
Yes,
what you are saying is the second candidate who is declared by the Comelec will be taking the oath.
Yes, Ma'am Karen, proclaimed, will take the oath and will assume office, in which case if the losing candidate, the one whose candidate was cancelled or disqualified, can now go to the HRET and question the proclamation of the second placer. So meron pa naman siyang paraan. But again, somebody will have to be proclaimed and somebody will have to assume by June 30, immediately after the election.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to this other candidate.